access. So once we install SAP S4HANA and doing any of the transaction or any of the business transaction, especially using either the Fiori or either the transaction, it will be stored into the HANA DB. And then in case if you want to provide access to the users for HANA DB, that is the separate access mechanism or security concept is there. So you have to create ID into the HANA database using HANA Studio or Web IDE. And then once you create a user and then provide the access through the privileges, especially not with the transaction code, but the privileges, we have some concept so that the user is able to access the database in the form of Fiori. Okay, so that is the core idea uh, behind like how to use that SAP HANA DB security. So especially since we are learning especially is application layer security, so that's what we are learning, especially the SAP S4 HANA and especially the difference between that. And then we'll be talking about SAP S4 HANA architecture. So in this architecture, what basic change happen in terms of ECC to S4 HANA. So, so like as you know, HANA is a in-memory database. So in that, most of the information is stored into your main memory, and then any transaction is being run or any query application is being executed in S4 HANA. So instead of searching the program for that particular Fiori application or the transaction, it is not going back to the hard disk to bring this information back to the processor. So it will be saving the time because it is taking the information, the programs, the database directly from the main memory to the processor. So it is saving the time for not reaching to the hard disk to bring or reading the program and loading the program to the main memory. And from main memory, it is executing the program. So that way, it is saving the time, and that's what we are saying. HANA is a in-memory database, and it since it is an in-memory database, it is faster because processor and your main memories both are the electronic devices. All right. So that is a core architecture. Anyhow, we'll be discuss about that. What other changes happen in SAP S4 HANA, like not only the in-memory database, but also like HANA as a database structure. So, so like whenever we save any information in S4 HANA, so it is getting stored anyhow in the HANA database. That is mandatory. And then in the HANA database, the architecture change like the table, especially the functional tables, is stored in the form of column format. So, so like in that like you have in S4 HANA, most of the especially the technical tables is stored into the row and column format, but still your functional table is stored into the column format. So that change happened actually in that sense of the SAP S4 HANA system, and and that way like SAP making some simplification. Okay, so so that even if you want to find that whether the table is in the form of column store or the row store, or if you want to find that, you can also find these kind of tables, whether it is like a column store or like a row store. So so for that, maybe you can take you to the system for a minute. Okay. So this is how we will be providing you the server access, like a remote desktop server will be provided to you. In that, anyhow, S4 HANA system is a 2020 version, and we'll be providing you the GRC complementary, and the same password we'll be providing to you. So in case if you want to practice GRC 12 also, that will be coming along with that. Okay. So so like if you go to SC13, for example, so Mara is one table which is stored for the material master information. Like whenever any client creating any material, so it will store that information into this Mara table. It's a functional table. And then if you want to see what type of this table is, so you can see it is a column store now. So so that way you can find the table properties here. All right. So that is one idea. All right. So, so then like we'll be talking something about like authorization in SAP S4 HANA. So in this we are talking something like a services here. So S underscore service is one object is there. So in security, like whenever we want to provide access to any user in ECC, so how we are providing access to user into ECC. So you'll be providing access using like you are going to the PFCG and then providing the access to the user, right? So like in case if you want to provide access
Right, right.
to any user for any transaction, so you go to the role, you give the description, and then if you want, you have to go to menu and then adding a transaction. For example, PFCG or BA01, for example, if you want to create a business role, right? And then once you go inside, then authorization object and everything will be coming here. But one default object is coming for each of the role, each of the transaction, which is S underscore T code, right? Every time, whenever you are adding something through the menu, this object is coming always, right? So in S4HANA, whenever you are providing access to any of the user for Fiori, so this object is coming into picture as a
For
default object, S
service.
underscore service. All right. So, so this is one big change is happening in terms of S4HANA for Fiori. So that you just remember always. So and always remember you don't have to give S underscore service star and star in production to any of the role. Okay, maybe development quality may be okay, but in production never give that. So otherwise this will be an audit issue. All right. So this everyone understood this point? Any question till this point? Anything?
All good with us. Thanks.
Okay,
Because why we
good.
all already have the tables as the column level storage. Like is there
Yeah, so the idea here is why we have the column is also SAP actually since they want to bring the tables or the information into this into the main memory, right? So because of this, since you are having all the things into the column store, it is easy for them to store the data in the main memory. So that is the only reason to make the like a table structure to the column store.
okay?
Okay, so since like and second thing is reading. Okay, first thing is storing. Second thing is reading. So
So does that
like if
indexing helps
complete
in
row is there, so the
yeah.
complete row is there. So it is easy for you to read the line actually. You don't have to read load complete line and then read, but line is there and then they will pick from where the data is to pick. So, so that way they are doing.
So nothing like just for the reading purposes or why the database responds so quickly. There is no indexing concept.
Yeah, yeah. So the even though for if you go for indexing or if you go for other option, but you have to load the complete information into the main memory. Okay, from and that too like from hard disk. Okay,
Mhm.
so
Right.
so that is the change happen. So since they written some compact techniques, some programs they have written compression techniques, so that what they are doing. For instance, like in Oracle, if you have the database, for some same ECC software, suppose assume if you want to load the ECC software, so you need like 500 GB of the space, okay, in your hard disk. And then if you go for the same software with HANA DB, so it required only the 50 GB, for example.
Right.
So 50 GB you can easily load into your main memory if you have the server. So server is always nowadays like a laptop itself is coming with 16 GB or 32 GB, right? But if you are building a server, so it is easy for you to like 120 GB or 500 GB if you take as a space as a main memory. It's very easy, right? As a server,
Okay.
and then you can fit with the hardware like number of processor and number of hard disk number sorry main memory. So that way it will help you for parallel processing as well.
Okay. And one question is like if we are providing like S underscore service with a star value, so does it relate somewhere with SAP all kind of stuff or
Similar to that, not 100%, but similar
yeah.
to that. But the reason is like it will give you the almost complete access if you give the backend access. If you have additionally Fiori, suppose you have the Fiori access also. So along with this, it will give you full access.
Okay.
All Fiori access you can say directly.
Mhm. Thank you. Yeah, thanks. We can proceed.
Yeah. Okay.
So, sir,
So
S underscore service is basically what is like S underscore T code in ECC, right? That's what you
correct.
said, like the
Absolutely
default
correct.
object.
Absolutely correct.
Okay, okay,
Absolutely correct. So
okay, okay. Thank you. Yes, sir.
So don't we have a S underscore T code in this system?
if you yes, yes. Once again, yeah, we have it. But if you suppose, if you think of like you will be providing access to the user purely end user, especially prospective, only for the Fiori, then S underscore T code is not, sorry. If you are providing S underscore like sorry, if you are providing Fiori only to the end user, then S underscore T code not required, or it is not called into your role. Okay.
Okay. Do we have a SAP all and SAP new in this S4?
Yes, yes, we still have because it's still like some of the applications is not is still converted. So idea here is uh, SAP is still not converted in, if I say directly, all the transaction into the Fiori. Okay, so you then that is the only reason like you still have some transactions. Functional transaction is still into your S/4HANA system. And to provide the access to the those applications, you have the transaction. Okay. So you have to give the access for combination of transactions and your Fiori application. All right. And then as soon you provide the access to the transaction, S underscore T code comes into picture. All right.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so now, like anyhow, as we mentioned, like transaction, definitely we have the transactions into the system, and the transaction wise, like for security, still our core transactions, like whatever we can run in ECC, same transaction we able to execute in S/4HANA system also. So here, like we'll be using PSCG in ECC, for example, to create a role. For S/4HANA, we'll be using the same transaction to create a role. Either it is a transaction based role, Fiori based role, both the roles we can create with the PSCG. Okay. Then still SUIM, in case if you want to find SUIM like the Fiori related roles, like in which Fiori, in which roles you have which Fiori applications. Okay, so that we can find from here, or in which roles we have which catalog that we can find from here. So those things we can find from here, and like all the transaction is valid in our S/4HANA system for Fiori as well. Okay, so any question till this point by anyone?
So, because the question is because this is a security, SAP and HANA
Yeah,
security and Fiori,
yeah.
are we covering any part of the GRC or not?
No, no, not GRC, but what we are covering at the end, like a GRC little bit, like a the risk rule set definition for
Mm-hmm.
Fiori, like how it can be changed from ECC to S/4HANA. Okay, so one overview. So some of the examples, like how the Fiori risk is being formed. Okay, that part, and little bit to tell you like how the Fiori has been designed uh, in GRC. Suppose in case instead of NWBC, if you want to give the access for the user for Fiori, so that how we can get the tiles of GRC in the in the GRC 12 system. Okay.
So, in the current market, is it more asking for these Fiori security versus GRC, or is it completely
Both,
different?
both actually. S/4HANA is a thing that every company now will be moving slowly, and after some years they have to start quickly actually, because 27 is a deadline is given now again
Uh-huh.
by SAP, so everybody has to move from ECC to S/4HANA. They are closing the support for ECC.
So, but
uh,
what my question is the GRC is still being implemented and applied?
yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Because any of the governance tool they need to follow that audit requirement, the company requirement, the compliance requirement, and GRC will be helping them to safeguard them to audit perspective. Okay.
Right. But when I'm looking at the like if you go to the DICE or simply hire.com, um, and if you search for SAP security, you barely get any jobs. Versus if you do SAP GRC, then you have more position available. So
Yeah, that's
I'm
right.
asking.
It's not only GRC serve the market, but definitely S4HANA is also is a like a booming things that also you should learn actually. You can't
Okay.
skip S4HANA without GRC.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Because just one question is like,
Uh,
which certification we can apply for after this course? Is it ATM 945?
No, according to me, like there is no certification, only a HANA admin certification is there as for HANA admin certification that you can apply. So
So HANA.
security side, I don't think as for HANA admin certification. So that is like 30% of your as for HANA security, 35, and the rest is your admin, how you install as for HANA system to the system.
So that's the basis part, right?
Basis part, yes.
Okay, not the HANA DB, the security stuff. No.
No, not HANA DB stuff.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, so let's move on a little bit. So now like these are the secure transactions, so that is still valid. So in case if any issues is there, we still use the ST authorization trace. In case of you want to modify SU24 or any custom Fiori application, yes, you can do SU24 modification for SU24 for that. SU22 in case if you want to like compare some data which is given by SAP like authorization object linking you with your transaction or SU24 information with your Fiori application in case if you want to compare with the standard one, you can use it. SU25 also in case if you are doing the upgrade, you can use SU25, still valid. So those things you can still apply or use in this S/4HANA system. And then there are some services that we'll talking later about this services, what this OData service is about. So there are some OData service maintenance part is there. So some transaction is there where we have something like to maintain OData service. So /UI to FLPD cust. So these are some transactions are there. So these transaction is like in the S/4HANA, the Fiori transactions or Fiori related transaction start with slash or /UI2. Okay, forward slash, and whenever you want to access any of the transaction, you use this transaction and then put behind like /UI2/n, sorry, so that you can use that for.
So what is the OData service and why it has been introduced in S4HANA? I mean, what is the difference from ECC to S4HANA?
Yeah, so we'll be telling you, but the simple answer is for that logic is why OData service is there. So the OData service is like since your Fiori is opening into the web browser, okay. So the data has to transfer from one place to another place. So they created a data transfer protocol with the OData service as a program. You can assume simple meaning. And that program will be responsible for moving the transfer of the information from one system to another system. Okay, so that is nothing but OData service.
Okay.
Okay, so that is the only logic here. And for each of the Fiori application, like in case if you have the Fiori application to create sales order, so that there will be a OData service specific for the sales order application. Means a specific program is linked with that specific Fiori application. Okay, so that is there, and then we have this /UI2 FLPD cust program. So this program is our transaction is especially used for the purpose of designing a catalog, and this is for opening a Fiori launchpad. So maybe just for everyone. So maybe just to have a feel of it, like how the Fiori will be used. So again, like nowadays, like most of the end user will be using this Fiori type of application, and this like you have something. Let it load actually. So like you will have this kind of Fiori application. So whatever you can see, it is a kind of Fiori application that we call as a Fiori application. Sometimes we call as a tiles. So whenever you click any of the Fiori application, it will open some of the specific activity that you can perform on the web browser. So that is we call as a Fiori. So for end user perspective, it is easy for everyone to navigate through and easy to access. The end user doesn't have to remember any of the like a transactions. They just have to click here and then they are able to open that application here on the web browser. So that is a big advantage in terms of end user, so that they will use anywhere. Like if they have the smartphone, if they have the tablets, or they have the laptop, anyhow they can use it, and easy to perform their business transactions, right? So that is the idea here, just a core idea here right now. Like some of the Fiori application, that is technical applications, but similar to that, end user also can get the Fiori application related to creation of sales order, for example, creating purchase orders or some other stuff. All right. So that
Okay.
will be, that is nothing
Uh,
but yeah.
yes, sir. I have one quick question. So we went
Yeah.
into
Yes or
the
no?
S4 system and we executed slash UI2 slash FLP, and it ended up in the SAP Fiori Launchpad. So does the end
Correct.
user also do it like this, or they
No,
directly
no,
have
they
access?
will give the Fiori link to them. Okay. Just
Okay,
now you
okay,
seen
okay.
one link, right? Like which is
Mm-hmm.
where it is asking user ID and password. So
Right, right. Okay.
though we are creating a user in the backend, the same 01, and assign the role, but the end user will get the Fiori link, and then they will give their user ID password, which we created into the backend, and they can access the Fiori from the browser.
Okay, so it's easier for them. It's like any other website that we log in, any other app that
Correct.
we log in. So for end user, it
Correct.
gets easy, right? Okay.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Because there's
So
one question,
our
like because these are
security,
two,
yeah, our
these are
security control is
two applications.
still from GUI. Sorry.
Sorry, these are the two, like front end and the back end. So do we have the front end role and the back end role and the mapping concept?
We will talking later, but right now
Okay,
it is an embedded system. Okay, so here if you create a role, one place only we have to create a role, and then one place only you have to assign the role.
one place only.
Okay, so no mapping is required in current system where I'm showing you the example, because it is an embedded system. Here Fiori and S4 both are sitting together into one place.
Okay, and just last question from me, like if we have two, three applications like ECC, VW, or APO, supply chain, something.
Mhm.
So, like, do we like the same platform will work for all the applications, or we need to log into different
No,
interfaces?
no, platform may be okay, but
Hmm.
your backend system, the role design, the
Hmm.
assignment of the role is different. Okay, it cannot be same. Means the idea here, since it is an embedded system, you have both the things into one. Okay, so but if you go for other environment, so then it will be different way. So we'll talk about. We'll give you your answer in some minutes. It will be coming up. Okay.
Sure. Thanks. Sorry.
So anyhow, like these are the like some of the default auditor services there. So this default auditor service is required like to design the Fiori application, like whatever you can see here. If you want to design a new kind of application, or if you want to arrange that for different user, different type of access. Like if it is a sales manager, suppose this person is working as sales manager, so he will get the sales Fiori application. Somebody working as a finance manager, so he will be getting some of the Fiori application related to the finance, right? So different role, different type of Fiori application, different type of role design. How we do in the ECC security, the same way we have to do for the S/4HANA system also. All right. So and creation of the role, the concept is still the same, no difference at all. Okay. So what is that? What you can see here, the home things. This is this icon, question mark, star s. So this will be like SAP default, you can say, service. That is again a service that we call as a default service that has to be active. And some of the services for your developer. Okay, some of the basic services for the developer, for example, like all the service we give the access to our developers so that they can create it like a objects related to the Fiori, they can transport. Okay, so if we give this access, those like we can transport that object from development system to the quality and production system. Suppose they create a custom Fiori application, so they have to transport it. Okay, so transport access is required. For designing purpose, they need this page builder related one. Okay, so design the Fiori pages. And then this is the service which is common services, which will make your Fiori launchpad. So this what we can see, this screen is Fiori launchpad. So this will be designed here. So to give the access for this Fiori application, a Fiori launchpad, a Fiori designer, you can say Fiori launchpad, sorry. So you need some services. So this service, like this service something default, and this service is something default, which is for all the end user. Okay, so we'll be talking much about, don't think much about here, but think only one thing, like for security, all the same transaction, we don't have to learn separate transaction for security here. Okay, there are some additional transactions are there, which is something new that we have to learn, like which we don't know, that we have to learn. And there are something OData concept is there, and some default OData service is there that will be understanding later point of time what is that. Okay, and then some SICF service. So SICF service, like how the web page will be formed. So that is nothing but your SICF service. Okay, so that is required. And some specific authorization object also we are going to learn, which is related to your S/4HANA system. That is a new one. And then SN_RFC, ACL, some authorization object is required. And that will be also you'll be learning what reason or which scenario we are going to use. And S_service also again. So that will be learning. Okay, so meanwhile, I just go a little bit down and then I just walk through and tell you some more things. So here, how the Fiori is designed. So like this Fiori, what you can see here for the end user, how this SAP designed this Fiori. So SAP designed this Fiori with the help of HTML and JavaScript. The front end, what you can see here. So that is nothing but your JavaScript and HTML, because it is running on the web. So anything running in the web, you know that the language will be HTML, right? In case if you want to know that also, if you are very curious about that, then you can go here and then go for this tool. And then from the developer tool, you are able to see that also. So what this Fiori is been designed like that. So you can see here some of the extent, like JavaScript related one is there, right? HTTPS error, some status code. So these are some information that you can find from here. What really this, how it is designed. Okay. Web services, front end, font, media. So those are some options are there. So not going much. So here you can see the code SAP Sales Services. Whenever you scroll through, it will tell you hidden overflow, background, SAP GUI. So this is the code behind this. Okay. So we don't have to bother about much actually, but just an idea how it has been designed. All right. So that is the core idea that we will learning, like what is the meaning of Fiori, how the user will get the new experience. Okay. And then what is the meaning of Fiori Launchpad? You are seeing the transaction to launch the Fiori Launchpad one that we have something. Then web dispatches. So why web dispatches? Like to dispatch the information from your system to the browser. Then we have to set up web dispatcher kind of thing. Then we have to establish one communication channel between both the system. Which type of browser is supporting the Fiori? Okay. What is the Fiori additions? Okay. So these are the type of like a basic understanding of architecture. And then this is important actually, the type of Fiori application. So like transactional, fact sheet, and analytical application. So see, whenever we are using this Fiori here, so this Fiori is nothing but like having different type of applications. So SAP have classified the Fiori application of three types. So one is like a, so we have something called a Fiori application library. We have something called Fiori application library. So this Fiori application library is specially used for the purpose of finding the Fiori related information for any of the Fiori applications given by SAP. So if you go here, this is freely available first of all. So this is one of the important source of information for Fiori. So in case if you want to go for the S4HANA for Fiori, you go here. If you want to go for product version, suppose our version 2022. Okay, so these many Fiori application is available in 2022 version, like custom code modification, display document flow, display journal entry, identify risk, return, interest rate overview, inspection lot analysis. So here, see by name also you can make out inspection lot analysis or interest rate overview or analysis, inventory analysis. So these are the type of your analytical application. Okay, whenever we say analytical application, meaning if you provide access to any user for this Fiori application, they are able to analyze the inventory. Okay, so they cannot modify anything, they just view the data. So how it looks like, so it will give you the little overview. If you give the access to any user for this Fiori application, so what kind of data it will show and in which form. So you can see the inventory stock value increase more than this. So this will be just an idea for you. So the meaning here simple. What is the analytical application? To analyze the data, to view the data, or to view the report. That is nothing but analytical application. Understood, everyone? Analytical application meaning? Okay. Then we have something like a transactional application. So the transactional application is nothing but where we do the transaction. For example, like in ECC, if we are creating a sales order or changing a sales order, right? So this is a kind of transaction we are doing, business transaction. Creating a purchase order where we are changing the data, we are creating a new document, business document. That is nothing but a transactional application, right? So for example, import sales order, we are changing something, we are importing the data from outside from Excel to the SAP system. So that is like a import sales order. So import sales order is a type of transactional application. So from here we can make out how the transaction type is that. Okay, so here you can see the purpose of it. You can, if somebody want to read, especially functional people will read it, but sometimes you can also read it. What is the purpose of it? So it is therefore importing the data from Excel. Okay, and this is a look and feel for this query application. All right. So that is a kind of transaction where we are changing a data, creating a new business document. All right. Fine. Right.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Then we have something called a fact sheet. So what is meaning of the fact sheet? See, the fact sheet is something like a search. If you want to search, suppose in the Google, in case if you want to search some document. So if you go to the Google, like you can search Fiori, just for example. So if you go to the Fiori and searching here, so that's what Google will be giving. Google will be giving you number of web pages where the Fiori is a keyword is there, right? So this is one web page. This is also one web page, right? This is also one kind of my page. This is also, so it will give you the number of web pages where Fiori as a keyword is there. Correct? So how the Google is finding this information? So it is searching the keyword into the Google database and showing you the number of web pages, right? This is okay, right? No? Google one. So
Yes.
in similar case, we also have one search option there. So there we can search some keywords and it is searching that keyword into the HANA database. Okay. Means there your S4 HANA database. So idea here is like in case if you want to search some specific sales order numbers. Okay. So if you go here and search something here, so it will show you the number of like a sales order. Or if you want to use sales order type, for example. So if you list out number of sales order type for a specific type. All right. So this is just an idea to show you the number of record which is stored or which you created into your S4HANA system. In case suppose if HR people is there, they want to see the number of retired employees. Okay, so they can say that like a retired employee type something like a retired employee. So it will give you the list of employee which is retired. All right. So this is just an idea for you. So fact sheet is nothing but a search model which will give you the search result based on some keywords. All right. So just an example to you.
So basically, based on user's job description, we either give them transactional access or analytical or fact sheet, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Based on their job responsibility.
Based on the job. Okay.
So this is a link normally either you can copy it or you can save and share with the users. Okay. Or maybe you can bookmark this also. So that next time you don't have to. So suppose we have one ID. I think I created one ID. Okay. So this is one test ID. So in case if you want to search something related to the bank. Okay. So here have given access only to search the banks. Otherwise is working in the finance. So if we keep here like a bank as a keyword or some specific name of the bank, he is able to see that records. So banks, anyhow, it will giving you the banks also. So if you say that, so it will show you the bank as a keyword, right? So like that, you can just create your fact sheet and provide access to the user for the fact sheet. So this everyone understood this part, the idea of the fact sheet. So like if somebody working in the bank, so they can go to the system, and then if you give the access to the user to the search the bank fact sheet, you can see only the bank. If somebody who's working in HR, so if they want to see something, so they can go to the they can go to the system and then they can search the fact sheet as a like a keyword. So instead of like if HR person is there, they will search something like some other thing, maybe like a person number, something person number. Instead of there, he will be having person number and they give the person number and then see the detail of the person. Okay, so that is the idea. If you keep a star, then it will give you the number of bank which we have. Like here you can see HDFC or ICICI. It will show you both the two points. Okay. Or if you are specific to you want to find HDFC only, so you can keep here HDFC, so it will give you the record where HDFC as a keyword is that if you are three more, four more bank HDFC, different branch, and it will show you all the one which is belong to HDFC. All right. So that is the idea of the fact sheet.
Yeah, all right. So we can also give users both transactional and fact sheet type of access, right? If they
Yeah,
need
yeah.
both kind. Yeah.
Why
Okay.
not? Why not? Yes.
Okay.
So it's not mandatory to assign the transaction to the user, right? In backend. Like I can say, there's an application for exchange already implemented in Fiori by SAP.
Yeah.
In backend,
Mm.
but to give transaction access to the end user, right? We can just give the word data service to them, so it can work, right?
Along with our data service, Fiori application also we have to give
Sorry.
two things. Fiori also we have to provide access.
Yeah.
So,
Not required the
okay.
transaction be granted VA0.
Yeah, not required the transaction. Correct.
And
Correct.
based on the product, based on our SP version only, so we are going to utilize those Fiori apps, right?
Correct. Absolutely correct. So the core idea here is like we'll be creating if you go for new implementation, greenfield implementation. So we create a role matrix. Okay. The same way like how we are creating. Addition to that, we'll be asking like which type of your application that you need and what is the activity you need. And based on that, we design our uh, Fiori roles.
So for
We'll talk about something. We'll touch base in some minutes. Okay. So now these three type of Fiori applications we have in the system. So in that, any question? So many people are a little silent today, but yeah, just want to give some space to them. Any question, Ashok? Anything? Khalid, Sai, Anil, anything? Asha?
Not right now. I guess once we get into the training session, then will come up with it.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it is a new subject, so I mean, you don't have much. Because I've had past in SAP, basis administration, not for HANA, and I touched a little bit
Okay.
of security side, but not the GRC. So I was
Okay.
kind of confused. Is it the right course to go? Do I need to get additional information like another session for GRC? So I can discuss that.
Mhm. Yeah, sure. Okay. So, Namita, anything? Babita, anything from your side? Pavitra?
Not
All okay? Okay. Honey, Pravanjan, anything?
Yes. How many days of course this will be? From 9 to?
9 to minimum 3 weeks. So within 3 weeks to 4 weeks somewhere it will finish. After 3 weeks to 4 weeks somewhere. Okay.
Okay.
And you
is
said
there-
it's 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. India Standard Time.
India time here.
Is there a possibility of scheduling it like a little bit later, because if we are supporting for the European project, it will be ending on 9 or 9:30, and it might be faced by the other people as well. So is there a possibility that we can push it to like 10:30 to 11:30?
Very, very, very late. Very late.
I'm on the same page.
Or 10 to 11 at least?
Yeah, so we'll check that anyhow. 10 to 11 maybe. That we will check. Okay. So that possibility is there.
Yeah, it will be also helpful.
Yeah, I'm also included in that.
Yes, sir. 10 to 11, you are looking. Any of that we discuss before closing. Okay. So now these are the three type of Fiori application. If anyone have any question, just let me know. So otherwise we can go a little further.
because I have a doubt like
Yeah, sure.
so you told that you will be giving service server access, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
there will be codes and you will be giving, right? Or
Yeah, 1 month we are giving the access. The course is around 3 weeks, but we'll be giving you for 4 weeks. So maybe
after
for
every
first 1
class
week.
you will be giving any task to be performed, like any
Yeah.
sorry, hello.
Yeah. Can,
So after every session, will you be giving any task to be performed, like for practice?
yeah. So like anyhow, we'll be giving you after 3-4 days when once we have some critical part. So that after that you will be having means after post finishing, so around extra 10 days you will be having access.
No.
Total
My
one.
question is like after each sessions,
Hmm.
regarding the session, you will be giving any tasks, like anything we
Yeah,
can
yeah,
check.
yeah. Correct, correct. That task I am giving, but I'm not really checking each of you like whether you perform or not. But yeah, that is like your responsibility to cover by your own. And if in case if you stuck, then definitely we'll take your session screenshot or you sharing your session, and then you explain me where you stuck, or and then we give you the solution there. But we are providing, we'll be giving you the task. Okay, you have to perform these tasks. For example, if you are creating a catalog, so we'll tell you, okay, you can create a catalog and add some new Fiori application in it. Okay, so
Uh,
those tasks we are giving to you.
I because this would also have documents with the screenshots, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, okay,
All the step-by-step documents are there from the beginning to the end. So
okay.
using this document, you can like able to perform most of the things. Yes, we'll show you also that. Okay, let's cover this quickly. So then like some related technologies are there, SAP UI5 technology, OData and gateway services are there. What is SAP Access Engine, like in case if you want to connect any third-party application to SAP S/4HANA or HANA database, then you have Access Engine for that. And OData, anyhow, we just talk about like a program which is used for transferring information from Fiori to your database and database to the Fiori in case if any user is like clicking on any of the Fiori application, for example, manage credit account, so that how the system knows that the user click on this Fiori application, right? And then it has to either create a credit account or maybe display this credit account, for example. So this is nothing but behind the scene is nothing but the OData service. It's nothing but a web program, okay, that we call as a OData service. So that will be linked with this. Okay. So that is the simple example, like what is that meaning of OData, and the gateway is like the gate from where the information is flowing. Okay, so we have something called a gate also. So that is not much to understand by us, but just a overview, like there will be some gateways been required to be established between your systems. Okay. So that is like anyhow with the basis one, they are more inclined to the basis, but as a overview, we'll learn that. Then this is one of the important thing for us also, like a deployment option. So there are two deployment options we have, like a central hub scenario and embedded deployment. So central hub scenario and embedded deployment. So central hub deployment is where Fiori and S/4HANA install on the different server. Means Fiori component installed in one server and S/4HANA installed in another server is nothing but your central hub scenario. We have another scenario where Fiori and S/4HANA component installed on same server that we call as an embedded scenario. So our training server, which we have here, that is an embedded system. Okay. So you can see that if you go to the system and status and go to the detail, install product version. So here you can say your query for S/4HANA, okay, and your S/4HANA foundation. Both installed in so same server. So that is nothing but your embedded system. All right.
How did you check that?
Yeah.
Like,
So in the
what
system
kind
you
of
have to go,
Mhm.
and in the system status, and then this is nothing but you like
Okay.
finding the issue, finding the system. Sorry. You go to the system here, the
Okay.
status,
Okay.
then this detail button, product version,
Mm-hmm.
and install product version.
Okay. Okay.
So here you can see Fiori for S/4HANA and S/4HANA. Okay, both are there.
Okay.
So
Got it.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that is nothing but your embedded scenario. Okay. So in the system you have to go, and in the system status, and then this is detail button, product version, and install product version. So here you can see Fiori for S/4HANA and S/4HANA. Okay, both are there. So any, okay. So that is nothing but your embedded scenario. In another scenario, what happened? This component, suppose this is your one server. Here only S4HANA is there, and this Fiori component, for example, all the Fiori one, install in another server. Okay, server 2. So suppose it is a server 1. We have one more server, server 2. Okay, where you install these two component, Fiori component, for example, and then if you install the Fiori component on another server, and then server 1 and server 2 you can link with RFC connection. Okay, so that is we call as a central hub scenario. So this central hub embedded one is okay, everyone?
Yes, yes. But does it really cause any difference whether it's central or it's embedded for us or for the end users?
For end user, definitely no. For security, some extent the concept is same, but some extent we have to do little extra work.
Okay. Okay.
So the extra work is in case if somebody, some end user who want to have access in Fiori, so you must have to create his ID in both the places. Because if you create his ID in Fiori front end only of one server 1, but not in server 2, he is able to see the Fiori. But if he click here, he needs some data. Suppose he click on the display sales order. So,
Right.
but then system will try to reach to the backend system to read the data, which is backend system where your all data is saved. Okay, database is saved. So if you don't have access, the user doesn't have access, it will not able to see any data. Okay, so you have to create his ID in front end, you have to create his ID in back end, you have to create his front end role in the front end system, you have to create his role in the back end system also. So front end for front end access, back end for data level access. Okay, so that is basic change happen in terms of the security side. Rest same thing are same. There also in the front end also you are creating a PSCG to create his access, front end access. Here also you are using PSCG to create his back end access. Okay, SU0 same SU0 you create to create a user in the front end, and also you have to use the same system for creating the user IDs. Same transaction SU01 in the front end and back end. Okay. And in the back end, you have to give one additional access, that is S underscore RFC and S underscore RFC AC. Because that user needs the RFC connection also, right?
So in
And
that
that
case,
is,
then embedded is better, right? It makes our lives easier.
Yes. And this is also SAP recommendation also. So that go to embedded one. So no RFC call is there, and your debugging is also easy, right? And your mapping is also easy. So otherwise, you have to map, you have to collect and then compare your once you are designing a role matrix. So what is the role you have created in the front end, whatever the role you have created in the back end, that you have to map in your role matrix. Okay.
Because do we need different set of hardware specifications for making an embedded system from the central hub?
Yeah. Yes, different type of, anyhow, as you know, for installing a S4HANA, a HANA database is mandatory. Okay, you can't install S4HANA in any other database. So here, if you can see here, it is a HANA database. And to install a HANA database, you need the specific hardware. It's not that a normal machine can install HANA database. It required a specified vendors and a specified series of processors and series of your main memory. On that only you can install HANA database. Okay, so hardware wise, yes, for backend you need the specific hardware. For the front end side, in case if you have the central hub scenario, if you detach this to like a front end component to another server, there is not a compulsion. Okay, you can install on any other database because it is a Fiori only, right? The Fiori is Fiori on the like a JavaScript, as you know, right?
Sure.
So JavaScript you can use for the purpose of like any database, JavaScript, HTML, and all. So for that reason, no compulsion for front end. But if you are embedded, so you don't have choice anyhow. You have to install both the things into HANA DB, right?
Right.
Okay, all right. So let's move on a little bit. Hi, John. Sorry to be late a little bit. So we just pass on a little bit. So we just talk about like a central scenario and embedded scenario a little bit. Okay. So just to tell you like little bit like where we install the Fiori component in one server and S4HANA component in another server and link both the server with RSC connection that we call as a central scenario. Whereas the embedded scenario is like something where we install both the component like a Fiori and S4HANA in one server that we call as an embedded scenario. So in our system, that is embedded scenario. Okay, so if you go to the install product version, like we can see Fiori front-end server and your S4HANA both in one server. Okay. All right, so this is one sample, something. And then Fiori application library we talk about. So this is one of the important source of information. Basis, security, and functional team, they will read out to this or reach out to this place and finding the information. For us also, security person also reach out to this Fiori application library to find out the information related to the Fiori, the type of Fiori application, and also some of the important information related to the OData service for this specific Fiori application, any of the Fiori application. We will be talking about like what kind of roles we can have, like if you want to give the access for any user in case of you are doing the implementation. So in development systems, suppose if you want to give the access when your role is not ready for your functional team, maybe to test it or to validate their configurations, for example. So you can give the standard role. So how to find what is a standard role linked with this Fiori application. So if you go to the implementation information, and if you go a little down, then you can see here the business role is there. So if you generate this role and assign to the user, he can able to see this Fiori application in the development and quality system. Maybe you can give that access to the user. Okay, but we are not using a standard role as such to provide access to the user. So that is not there. Okay. So there is some more information is there related to security. We'll talk later, but little bit like OData service. If you want to know for identify a risk, what is the OData service linked behind it? Okay, so that you can see here. What is the SICS services linked behind it? And also you can see here. So those informations are there. What are the activity you can perform with this? For example, EHS risk can identify the risk, so identify the action, and this is like a object, so similar to your authorization object and values or activity, similar to that. Okay, so some more information is there that we'll talk in detail once we go a little more further here. All right, even in case you want to find some Fiori application related to your GRC, so that also you can find from this place only. So, but you have to select other options, for example, all options, all application. So if you say here access, for example, as a keyword, so it will show you some of the Fiori application, for example, access approvers. So you can see this is related to SAP GRC. And in GRC 12, you can implement this type of Fiori application. So here you can see the product feature in case if you want to see how the Fiori product feature is there. So this is once you implement the Fiori roles in your GRC 12 system, you can see the Fiori for the user or for the approver. You can see this into the Fiori application. Okay. So that is the idea. And SAP have given the standard role also in case if you want to test something, use this role, generate this role and assign to the user. You can see some standard access approval Fiori application in this for this user. Okay. So anyhow, yeah.
Basically, are we covering the implementation or transforming the ongoing ECC project to the S4HANA, right?
Implementation. So like so brand new implementation, if you have to go, so how to provide access to the user from the beginning.
And what about if client is already working on ECC and they just want to shift from ECC to HANA?
So then you have to run the upgrade steps. Okay. So For that upgrade step, like we are covering the steps actually. What are the steps we have to follow in case of upgrade, in case of brownfield implementation and greenfield implementations?
I'm sorry, I didn't able to hear you.
Steps.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, only we are covering the
Steps. What are
steps,
the
not
steps we have to follow?
full
In,
transformation. Okay.
no, practically it's not possible because we have to bring the basis to the system from ECC, EHP 6, and then we have to upgrade the system and then show you. So it is not
But
feasible.
we'll cover the points, what will be the needed to
Yes.
transform, right?
Yes. That is a part of our course. Yes. Okay, so this is the one, and then some configuration is like basis people will do some configuration. We also do some configuration, like providing access to the user in case from the backend if you want to do some gateway search, some embedded search, and some S4 analytics, some configuration. So this is basis actually will do. We not do in that area, but we'll touch base on this as a overview. Then the user management, how to create user, how to provide access to the user, what are the some important transaction related to the applications we have, and to provide a transactional application, we have to activate some component, some OData service, the role we have to design. Either we have to copy some catalogs. So here we have some concept of the catalog and groups here. Okay, so to provide any access to the user for Fiori, we have something called a catalog. So it is a very important thing here. So in security, like whenever we provide access to any user in ECC, so how we are providing access to the user in ECC, like we are going into PFCG and creating a role, and then in the role we are adding the menu, the transaction, right? That is how we provide the access, and then generating a role and then assigning a role to the user. So the user can get the access of the transaction, right? But in case of S4 HANA, in case if you want to give the access to the user for Fiori, so we have something, some concept called catalog. So catalog is same to your hotel. If you go to the hotel, you have the catalog, right? In each of the restaurant, you have the different type of catalog. Is one catalog is there in each of the page. You have the different type of dishes is there, right? So like whatever you have in the catalog, anything you can order, but it's not that you can order something outside the catalog, right? So the same concept is applicable here. If a user is there, if you want to provide some access to the user for any of the Fiori application, so you have one component called catalog. So you have to place your Fiori application on the catalog and add the catalog into the role. So that is the concept here for S4HANA. Okay. So that way you provide the access to the user for S4HANA system. Okay. So similar to that. So like in case if you want to provide access to any of the Fiori application for user, so you create a user, you create a role, and then you create a catalog, add the Fiori application into the catalog, and assign the catalog to the role so that user can get the access. So leave about this part. We'll talk later little. So that is the idea here. Okay. So that we have to do here. So once you create a catalog, so in the side button of transaction, you have something called a Fiori launchpad and add a catalog. So if you add the catalog here, so the user can get the access of the Fiori application which you place into the catalog. All right. That is something like this. All right.
Okay, Gus.
Okay.
So just like we add transaction codes in the role, we are adding the catalog in the role, right?
Yes. And in catalog, what are the Fiori application you need? That application you have to place in the catalog.
Okay.
Okay, that is separately we have to add and that we learn anyhow. But
Okay.
just a example here. So if the user will be having some application related to the sales, so it will system automatically bring you the authorization object related to the sales. Okay, so for example, inside we not check what is there, but if you see here, based on the Fiori application, it will be asking you to add here the org stuff and then application. So if the application is creating sales order, so it will be giving you which sales organization you want to give. So if you want to give the same application for two different places, right? sales organization, one is for US, one is for India, then you have to define this role as a master derived roles. Okay, got it, no? This is how we do. If it is a universal, like these people will see the access of sales order for all the sales organization, then it's star. Correct?
So like we generate after adding a T code, we have to again generate after adding this
Definitely,
catalog.
definitely. We can't give the access without generating any role to the user. Okay, we have to fill all the objects. So I'm just giving a star for the moment, and then you assign this role to the user.
So that
Rajesh.
the user is now getting the transaction access also if he accesses from the backend, as well as he's getting the Fiori access also because we have added the catalog, right?
Yes, that's correct. So in the same scenario, if you give the access, so he can access transaction also, he can access Fiori also.
Okay.
Okay. So
sometimes Fiori app itself contains T code, right? I observed in my project. Fiori app itself having a catalog.
Yes, that's right. So that also we are covering. So the application which, if suppose the transaction, you don't have any corresponding Fiori application for this transaction, assume. Okay. So what we can do, we can host this transaction on the web. Okay. So that we call as a legacy application. Okay.
Okay.
So that legacy application is nothing but this transaction which we are hosting on the web, on the Fiori Launchpad, is nothing but a transaction. If you go and search for this OData application for this, you can't find any OData service. That is a legacy application. Okay.
For legacy catalogs, there is no OData services, right?
Yes, that's correct. This is exactly transaction. And there is, once you add the legacy application, only S_T codes populate, not your S_service object.
Service. Because there is no OData services.
There is no OData service. Yes, absolutely. Okay. So, Alkesh and Asha, any question?
No, Vikas.
All
for
okay,
me,
all
the
good.
time is the constraint. That's it.
Time is not 10 to 11 in the night.
No, that doesn't suits me.
Okay, anyhow. So anything else, Gaurav, from you or Rashita? Yasmin? Any question till this point? Anything?
Because just one question, like if we are giving, like from the SOD point of view, will we be getting some idea that how we can check the SODs for this role assignments?
GRC we are showing you overview. So how the Fiori means SAP standard rule set has been designed for Fiori. Okay.
Because are you going to discuss SPRO setup for GRC and S4HANA? Are you covering SPRO settings?
No, GRC we are not covering in this.
Okay.
That is purely for S4HANA. GRC, only two things we are just telling you, like how the SOD has been designed for Fiori, and then like how you can implement your GRC for catalog. Okay. Ranjan, anything? Rajesh, anyone, you just joined now. John, anything from you? Ashura?
Nothing from me.
Okay. With Radha? Okay. So that is about like catalog, similar to like we have something called a group. So group is nothing but a favorites. So the favorites, as you know, like suppose you have 15 Fiori application given to the user, but he is using like a 10 Fiori application maximum time. Okay, his day-to-day life. So that based on that we can design a group, So group is not a mandatory thing to provide access to the user. So it is just a favorites for the user. So that is the concept for the group. Okay. We'll talk much about sometime later also. Then we have something called a spaces also. So space and group is like group is the old concept actually. So and the space is a new concept. Space and page section is a new concept. So there is some drawback in groups. So that drawback will be overcome with the space, pages, and section. So the idea here is like here maybe just I'll give you some hint. So here like here what you can see here, which is the kind of pages and spaces here. So if you have this, what you can see here, the space, and then in the space you have you can arrange the pages here. So the idea here for pages and spaces here, like in a specific space, you can say this is a space kind of thing, right? This space is there. In this space, how many Fiori application you want to arrange? That you can arrange in one page. Suppose in this space, you can maximum 20 application you can place, or 10 application, maybe 10 approximately. So you can create one page where you add 10 Fiori application, you create one more page where you can add one more 10 application. So like that, you can create a like a spaces and keep adding to your user. So that is idea for pages and spaces. But the previous concept where we have the group concept. Okay. So the problem with the group concept is like the number of Fiori application. Assume like you want to give the 100 application to the user, and if you create a group, so the 100 application will be visible here, and user have to scroll through down or up or sidewise. So that is a problem for the user to arrange that. So that problem is overcome with the help of your pages and spaces. Okay.
Okay.
So we are learning both the approach, how to provide access with this approach and how to provide access with this approach. Okay. All right.
Okay.
And this is the logic. So
Means
you have to,
for end user perspective only, they implemented pages and spaces, right?
yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, so how we can provide the access? So the user is there, catalog is there, it's mandatory, and either you can use group or either you can use space, either of them. It is deprecated, so it will be removed sometime, but yeah, let's learn both the concept. Okay.
Because you want to say like group is being replaced with spaces and pages, right?
Yes, that's correct. That's correct.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right. It doesn't affect for your security. Okay. Means it will not, if you add group or if you add space, it will not bring any new authorization object in your role. Only from the catalog it is coming. Okay.
Okay.
So it is one interview question actually people ask. This is basically to the Infosys. If we add catalog and group, that is required to provide the access to the user. So they are expecting no, only catalog is sufficient also. So that will be some interview question they are asking. Okay, all right.
Yes, what is the significance of that target mapping in the Fiori apps?
Direct mapping on Fiori application where?
I'm just wanted to ask, what is the significance of target mapping in our Fiori applications?
Can you tell me here maybe?
Yeah, there we have target mapping, no? Like what exactly it will do with respect to Fiori application?
This one you are taking.
This target mapping.
Yeah, acha, okay, target mapping. Okay. Yeah, the target mapping, like what activity, suppose Fiori application you use sales order. Okay. So what activity you want to give? Create sales order. So if you give the access for the target mapping, create. So you will be able to create that with this application. If you give like a change, then it will be change. So target may be similar to your activity, what you have in the authorization object, create, change, and then.
Like field values, right?
Yeah, yeah, similar to that. With the same transaction, you have 3 different activity, correct?
Yes, yes.
So that is similar to that. Okay. So then we have something called SU24. So SU24 also, here also we have the SU24, but here in ECC, like ECC to SU24, if you give the transaction, user is able to access the transaction based on the like a authorization object linked with that will be pulled into the role. In similar case, you have the transaction that you pulled into your role, and then you can use the options. Okay. So that we see that how to modify SE24 for custom Fiori application, so that we can see into the system. Then we have something like SUIM. So SUIM is especially to find in which role you have which catalog, in which role you have which group, or in which role you have which pages or spaces, for example, so that you can find with the help of SUIM. Or in case if you want to find in which role you have which OData service, that you are also able to find using SUIM transaction. Okay.
Okay. Through
So,
application by menu, right?
Yes, yes. Then some important tables related to the Fiori, and then the troubleshooting way, how to troubleshoot the S4HANA issues and security issues, authorization issues. So SE53 and ST authorization is still valid into the system, so that we can still use SU53 and ST authorization trace. But there are some new transaction also comes into picture. So like IWF and the error log. So this is especially in case if you are loading a Fiori application and it's not loading correctly, so that you can able to find that issues from the this transaction slash and IWF and the error log. Okay. And this is also IWBEP if you want to have the central lab scenario and then you want to search any missing OData service, so that you can find from here IWBEP error log. In case of central labs, in case of embedded scenario, this is not okay. Only this is sufficient. And then S_RFC ACL. So this is again required in case of central lab scenario where you are connecting front end and back end together. Okay, if your user missing these factors is not able to see the data. Okay, and then SLG1 is also one option for you to find out the missing authorization, and browser debugging also. Okay, so this is also especially if you're a developer will be using this browser debugging, but we have again this option to use it. And then the security consideration for migration from ECC to S4HANA. So what are the points we have to consider in case we are doing the migration? Okay. So these are the like a brief for you, like what we are covering into that security. So any question, please point by anyone.
Yeah, Vikas, the last point you have highlighted, it was debugging S4, sorry, Fiori debugger. It is for ABAPer, right? Maybe.
No, not mostly for ABAPer, but still if we want to search something or find some issue,
I just mean the debugger F12 means the person who is ABAPer. The work I'm not right?
No, we have an option. We have some idea here how to find the missing OData service from here also. So we are using this also.
Yeah, last
So
one.
the security consultant basically needs this access. Yeah, like they need to understand that. For example, in analytical privileges also, sometimes we have to go into the report and find out that what from the security perspective.
The missing access, missing services.
Yes. We definitely need this one, yes.
And the last one, sorry, maybe it sounds weird, but what is OData services? I'm not getting that point.
See, simple meaning, simple to say. Like if the user take example here. Suppose the user is clicking on this manage credit account, right? So how, or I'm clicking here, how system knows that we are wanted like manage credit account or route overview we need. Correct. So there are a program behind it. So like you run the transaction, so system knows then VA01 means VA01 program it has to open. Correct.
Okay.
So see, this is nothing but a button, plain button, which is designed in HTML. But what action it has to do, that is nothing but OData service.
And
Okay, managed credit
OData
account is
stands for? Is it
open data protocol, you can say.
okay?
So because can we say like it is just just to identify that which tile has to be appeared in here based on the technical transaction we are going to run.
Not only appearing,
but the
the
total
data also.
functionality
Until
of
you
it.
have the data, it's yes, complete functionality of it.
Okay.
So basically it tells the system, right, how to identify the certain action that is required, like
Correct.
what the user is asking.
On this tile,
Yeah, on this
right? On a
tile. Yeah.
specific tile.
So
So
if I'm
for
wanting to do
each,
managed credit account, so the system will understand because of OData that okay, this person is trying to do this action.
correct, absolutely correct.
Okay.
And then system understand, okay, manage credit account, so it has to go to finance table to read the information, not the sales table.
Okay.
Okay. Now it's clear, Arshita.
Yes.
Some extent, right?
Yes, some extent.
No, that anyhow, like just assume like it is a program only, nothing else. Okay. So program working on the click. So system has to know that where we are click, whether route accounting or this, and then it will route you from front end to the back end, and then back end auditor service read the tables and bring the data from route overview and present you here on the screen. So that logic is nothing but OData.
So because for each tile there is separate OData service that
OData
need to
service,
be available.
absolutely.
And these services are in backend system or in front end?
Both.
In both systems. So the
Both
service
system
is
you can
same.
say for each in a sense you can assume always for one auditor service, one Fiori application, minimum two auditor services required. One is for front end and one is for the back end. Okay, front end to read the information like where you click and to design your application to show you the application on the screen, and back end to bring the data. Okay, only screen is not sufficient for you, only data is not sufficient for you if you give only the access of the backend or data service. Okay, if you read the data, but how system read the data until you give the front end. So both is required, right? The
And
tile
there
and the data.
both the services are different in backend and in front end, right? And so OData
Yes, sir.
service name
Yes,
is different.
yes.
Okay.
Means the name is actually different by adding some keyword like a Z keyword, but otherwise the service name is identical except Z, some letter will be there. Okay, while
Thank you.
activating, the system add some Z letter behind the auditor service to make it different as a front-end service. Okay.
So you
But
said
the
one Fiori app will have two OData services, one for the front
yes,
end and one for
front end
back
and
end,
one is
for
for the
both
back end.
display and authorization, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Because along with the
Okay, so
recordings, we will be getting some other documentation as well.
no, first
Read
thing,
out
like
from
we are
like
not sharing recording. We are going only in like a documents, step-by-step document and like a server access. And this step-by-step document have everything actually.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, that will be
show
sufficient
you.
as well. Yeah.
So this is the document that we'll be sharing with you. Okay, this PPT. So this is kind of PPT introduction initially, the versions, the changes, difference, ECC to S/4HANA, the versions of S/4HANA and cloud, then this deployment S/4HANA on-premise, cloud, and hybrid, Fiori, some Fiori examples, the difference in Fiori, and then like function-based and role-based. So, and then S/4HANA UX strategy, different type of Fiori applications. So like these are the three type of Fiori application. Plus transaction also we can host on the browser that we call as a legacy application, then search model, then functional change, what SAP actually doing the S simplification, what simplification SAP is doing, clubbing the similar kind of functionality into one. Then other changes, some new module transaction clubbing, then S4HANA things, okay, architecture, the design dispatcher, meaning the deployment models, the difference central hub and embedded one, what is better, what is plus point, what is negative point in each of them. S_R, CACL, gateway services, system alias. Okay, the old data service. What is that meaning of old data service? Here you can see two old data service for one application is there, front end, back end. How to activate, where once we activate, where in which table it is getting stored, very launchpad, the catalogs, the groups, how to create a catalog groups to the concept wise, how to design it. Okay, what is the concept of space pages? The example here. Okay, here is launchpad admin access, how to create a pages spaces. This is screenshot with the examples. How to create a catalog, technical group, ECC categorization concepts, Fiori categorization concept. And this is one example from the beginning step to step. Like go to Fiori application if you want to give access for any user for one Fiori application. What is our starting point? Okay, so going for Fiori application library or checking what is the type of Fiori application, activating the SICS service, old data service. Okay, how to activate SICS, then old data service. Okay, like that, some people, and giving that transportation, the old data service. So this is how like you can activate the old data, then how to create a catalog. And after catalog, the semantic object and semantic action we are mapping to your catalog, our catalog. Okay, and then adding into the role, how to add into the role, going to this Fiori launchpad and adding the catalog which we created, and then the user can see the Fiori application in their catalog and able to access it. How to create groups and all. There's some important transactions, some transaction related to Fiori, not security related important, but yes, some. Then concept for central hub. Then how to add the default values. So that also will be learning. What is the purpose of it? SE24 update for legacy and also for our default auditor service, SICF service, common roles for technical roles, for end user roles, transportation, important tables, SUIM, type of Fiori application difference, and then search model fact sheet, which authorization object is responsible for that fact sheet. And this is like a deployment model. So somebody asked, I think, this question, like how to arrange that, right? If you have the three different application, then you have Fiori. So then you can create three different roles actually. That is the ideal way, better way to do that. So that we can create one Fiori front-end role, anyhow back-end role is separate. So if you have ECC, BW, SRM, so you create any of three back-end role and three front-end role you can create and anyhow link with this. So if the user click on the Fiori application for S4, it will redirect to S4 and bring the data. If the user click on BW, then it will bring BW or SRM Fiori application access.
Is this like this is just kind of one application server, or because from the interface?
No, three different.
But it is showing the location, right? This DAC, EMEA, and the
anyhow it is location. Anyhow location, but three different application also you can plan like this.
Okay.
The same way. So either you can create one front end, that is also okay. Three different catalog and then add that is also okay. So then some deployment model and adjustment and troubleshooting. And then upgrade, brownfield and greenfield approach. What we do with the upgrade, what we do with the brownfield and greenfield. Okay. So that way we are covering. Okay,
because we will be
now
also looking for like what kind of challenges we face from the security during the support and during the implementation, and
yeah.
that like just the examples point of view, that how are we going to support if the teams are coming up with from the the fact sheets or from the analytical sides. So how
Mm.
can we diagnose this? And I know that you will be covering them all. I'm just making sure that we will be
Yeah,
covering
yeah.
certain examples, so that at least
Correct,
we will be
correct.
familiar with, from the functional
Yes,
perspective, how
yes,
can we support them with a short period of time.
yes, yes.
Yes. Okay,
That
thanks.
that we are covering. So in that, like initially we start with like give you a little example for the like how it will be design like your role matrix, and then from here it will be driven. Okay, so some examples we'll show you as an implementation. Okay, we create one new role matrix and give 2 or 3 Fiori application in it, and then we design that roles. Okay.
Within the rule sets, like if we are sending the roles for the IDM uploads or the GRC uploads, how can we make the templates for the the functional areas mapping? And if there is a
Now, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, just for example, a new Z development has been done, so based on that, what are the risks and rule sets needs to be like, oh sorry, the risk and the function IDs needs to be updated over. So
Mm.
that just a small
No,
report
only
for that.
yes, yes. Overview will be telling.
Okay.
That's good. Okay, so now the timing. Okay, so it's looking like majority of people is agree with 10 to 11. Okay, so anyone any like issue with 10 to 11 if you go 10 to 11 p.m. IST time. From 9th we are starting.
Will it be every day, like from 9th onwards?
Monday to Friday.
Monday to
10 to
Friday.
11. 10 to 11 we are seeing.
Okay, okay. So 9th is a Friday, and then again from 12th.
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay, got it.
From 9th it starts, and then from 12th onward it will go run every day.
Because do you also
Right.
schedule some trainings like during the weekend perspective? For example, somebody is not like, there
No,
might be a group that who is not available during the weekdays. Okay.
no weekend class.
Okay, no. Okay.
Okay, so anyone just let me know if anyone have any issue for 10 to 11. So let me know. Otherwise, I will bring that batch to 10 to 11. Okay, if everyone agree.
Yes, I
And
think that's
and
the
anyhow,
most suitable time at the moment. Like we will be finishing early, of course, for the people who are in the EMEA support. So, but 10 to
yeah.
11, we will try to manage at the best day.
Okay, so, and then fees, you know already, everyone like 12K is the fees. Okay, and then you can transfer me like this. My same Google Pay or Phone Pay number is there. Maybe I'll message you also, and then you can transfer initially 1K as a token, so that I know that okay, which are people who are interested in that.
Yeah.
Then we can go ahead from here.
I think Paytm is gonna Paytm is under controversy at the moment. So will it be possible that we can get the NEFT account details and we can do that?
Yeah, yeah, no problem.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. So I will share you. So anybody who need any FT, maybe bank account, just ping me. So otherwise, like
Yeah,
maybe,
if I could create a WhatsApp
Because
group.
what will be the total cost of the course? I just didn't notice.
12,000.
Okay.
12,000. Okay. Yeah. Someone,
That's fine
Ashok,
with us,
you
yeah.
have some question here. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, please create a WhatsApp group so that it will be communicated. We can communicate easily.
Yeah, yeah. So I will create for the people, like just ping me maybe. First you ping me on the WhatsApp who are interested. Okay. So I will create
Okay.
for the interested people in a group, and then we can communicate easily in one go.
Thank you.
Okay, everyone. So any question before closing? Pravanjan, anything from your side? Sachin? Sai?
No, because I'm good. The only concern is the timing. 9 to 10 is a preferred option for me, if that can be worked out. Thank you.
Okay.
Because I prefer 10 to 11 from my side.
Okay, so
I think 10 to majority people are prefer 10 to 11. So 10 to
Because
11
I
is good.
work till
So
9 to 5. So
Pravanjan, can you manage? Is it possible?
So 10 to 11 is like 2 o'clock in the morning for me.
Okay, where are you?
In the US time
I'm in,
zone.
no, I'm in Singapore's time zone.
Singapore.
Say 2.5 hours ahead of Italy's standard time.
Okay. So Pravanjan, I think I will bring you some in another batch anyhow. Okay.
Sure. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, then I think if no other questions, thank you everyone for joining and patiently listening me. Okay.
Oh, thank you very much, Vikas. That was a wonderful
Thank you,
session.
Vikas.
And let's meet it again. Okay.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
Thank you, Vikas.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
guys. Have a good weekend.
Thank
Thank you. Bye.
Have a good weekend, everyone.
Have a good weekend.
Thank you. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Yeah, John, actually, I not interacted you with you. John?